What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Blazers Uprise live here on what's today? It's a Thursday night, Eric. Today, I gotta update this text. For some reason, it didn't update. Today, we're gonna be doing a mock draft. It's gonna be fun. It's our first mock draft of the offseason. We like to do these on live streams. I'll also have some mock drafts that are videos, but it's always fun to sit down with Eric and go back and forth and pick players. And also for future streams, maybe we'll bring in one or two more people to spice it up a little bit. So I always enjoy just sitting down talking prospects, though, sitting down talking about team fits, and especially this year, Eric, with there being a lot of, a lack of consensus, a lot of prospects you could group in the same tier. I feel like fit matters more than ever, which makes the mock drafts more fun because it's not just necessarily who I have highest on my big board. I think fit is going to be valued this year as much as any, so I'm looking forward to getting into this mock draft, talking about a couple playoff series as well, and that'll be today's stream. Eric, how is your Thursday going, man?
Oh, not too bad. How about yours?
Mine's good. I've been looking forward to the stream all day. So I'm excited just to get this going. I cannot find the rundown. Hold on.
Arshad is in chat. What's up, Arshad? He says, I think we need Toppich or Reed. Are you talking about your Raptors or we as in the Blazers?
Hopefully he's talking about his Raptors. Arshad knows basketball, and that would be rough for the Blazers. There we go. That is on today's show. There we go. That's what we're talking about here on the left. I forgot something in the intro. We're also going to talk about a brand new TV deal involving KGW, Eric. But it might not be the team that you were hoping for. It's a Seattle team. The Seattle Kraken. We're just going to start off with this, Eric, because I want your thoughts on this. Right? The Seattle Kraken have signed a deal with KGW, Channel 8, in the Portland area to broadcast 70 of their games next year. I believe they play 82 just like the NBA. NHL is very comparable to the NBA in terms of the way their season goes around the same time of year. And they're also in the first round of their playoffs. But it's not the Blazers moving on from Root Sports. It's the Kraken moving on from Root Sports first to KGW for next season. And we've talked about how the Blazers were hoping for a brand new TV deal, and KGW, the Blazers games were on that channel in the past, but now you're definitely going to have some games conflict. I don't know. Is that something that kills the whole dream of the Blazers being available to everyone on KGW Channel 8?
Oh, 100%. There's zero chance it happens now. It could be a different channel, but it's not going to be KGW because, well, one, you already have to contend with a lot of times, they have to preempt primetime national TV shows and stuff like that to show a game. So they're not going to do that for the Kraken and then also try to work around having that for the Blazers. But just the logistics of 70 games, I believe it's all 70 of the games that aren't on national TV for them. So I think, it's every game will be available through some sort of platform for free. So they got it done. They had a deal with Root Sports. They backed out of it. I don't know what the wording of that is going to be, if they had to pay them some money to back out of that deal or if they had some sort of language to get out of it or what. But they just basically said, we're done with Root Sports and we're going to give our product for free over broadcast TV in both the Seattle and Portland markets.
It's a bad look for the Blazers, Eric, that the Seattle Kraken backed out of Root Sports first and beat them to their own market. Now, of course, the Blazers could go on Fox 12, right? Or, Coin Sigs, K2, right? There's other local stations, but if you were going to guess, it was going to be KGW because the Blazers have been on KGW in the past. And it is a bad look that a Seattle NHL team beat Portland to the punch in Portland's own market. I don't know. There's just something weird about that. And it's, if this was a well-ran organization, then okay, I can overlook that. But just all the incompetency that we've talked about for years now and the problems people have with ownership. It's like, oh, of course the Kraken are going to be put on KGW where it's easy for everyone to watch them next year in the Portland area. And it's going to be easier to watch those games than it is to watch Blazer games. And of course, Blazers brass gets beat to the punch here. I don't know. It's par for the course. It feels like in the way things are managed with this organization, and given how mismanaged they are, I think it's a very bad look.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, is it a surprise though?
No, unfortunately.
Like, this is what constantly happens to us Blazer fans. I mean, they can hide behind these deals all they want, but since the beginning of regional sports networks, league pass, every game being available for teams and markets and stuff like that, going on 20 some years now, probably. I mean, they've shown time and time again that they do not care about getting to their product to their fans. They just care about whatever deal is best for them personally. And I think it's very short-sighted. I think what several teams now are doing, Tori, the Indiana Fever draft Caitlin Clark. There's a buzz around that team unlike any we've seen in the WNBA. If any women's sports team or lower, it doesn't really matter that it's women's, just any of the major sports networks or leagues were going to get a huge boost in ratings, therefore could have probably charged more for advertising and more for TV views and stuff like that. It would have been the Indiana Fever this year. And they decided to make all their games free as well. So you see multiple organizations choosing to reward the fans and give the fans the most product. And it's just, I don't know. It's just frustrating to me that this organization continually just doesn't care that many of their fan base cannot even watch games if they wanted to. And they're just not available on many platforms. And they continue to make excuses for it every freaking year. And it's just, I mean, it's not even worth getting worked up over, because we just know that the Blazers are going to screw their fans when it comes to their TV deal. They do it every single time. And anyone who gives you any excuse otherwise is just trying to make excuses for a crappy organization, because that's all they do is constantly crap on their fans.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why viewership is down 50 to 60, maybe even as high as 70%, right? And we know that this organization has a problem with the lack of fan investment. But it's funny because I had a conversation years ago with somebody who works in the Blazers TV truck. Okay, I had a conversation, an argument with them, and he was touting the Root Sports deal. How they're going to be able to get in front of as many eyeballs as possible in freaking Fairbanks, Alaska, and Helena, Montana, and all these places that don't really
Idaho.
care about the Blazers. Yeah, and my whole argument was, if you make it harder for the fans that would actually be invested in your organization, in your product, if you make it harder for them to be invested and watch games in the long run, that is not a smart business move. Right? It's very short-sighted. And that's the argument I have with somebody that works for Blazers Broadcasting. And it's just logic. And part of the thing was Root Sports is going to die. Right? And that was the other thing I was saying in that argument years ago with this. We've seen this coming. Unless you've stuck your head in the sand and just kind of ignored it, regional sports networks have been dying. It's why the Blazers went from NBC Sports Northwest to Root Sports, is because NBC Sports Northwest died. Straight up died. Okay,
and it was
Bally is
Comcast before that died too.
Mm-hmm. Bally's had major issues. We've seen this coming, right? And instead of being ahead of the curve, no, they go the Root Sports route. But it's become so hard for the fans that would actually be invested in the Portland area, in Vancouver, in Southwest Washington, in Oregon. It's made it harder for them to be invested in this team. Now, obviously, the whole tanking problems the last couple years have left some fans by the wayside, the Dame saga, all of that, right? It's not just the TV thing, but it plays a big part. And it's like, no wonder it's down 50 to 60, maybe even 70%. Team sucks, all that stuff plays a part, but it's really, really hard to watch this team, and nobody is going to pull teeth to watch this team when watching this team makes you want to pull your teeth out. So they have completely failed in that regard, and it's why fan investment is so low. And now we have to worry about them going into an offseason, which is their first official offseason in rebuild mode, even though they won't say it. And we're worried about the drastic things they might try and do to try and make a play-in game next year because they're tired of the fans not being invested. Which is it's just hilarious how that comes full circle back to this point. And you hear they want to be like the Rockets. They want to get stuck in the middle again so they can get fans invested again. But they didn't care about keeping fans invested back when they signed the Root Sports deal. They were just seeing dollar signs, and now those dollar signs are going to dry up because Root Sports is going to die. Unless, it's maybe the Mariners can carry Root Sports, but that's the team that carries Root Sports, the Mariners, not the Kraken. The Kraken left. That's a sign, most likely. The Blazers are going to have to find an alternative anyway. And instead of doing it, they liked the dollars that came with being on TVs in Montana and took themselves off smartphones in Oregon.
I mean, we talked about this when the deal was signed. Like, it's stupid to think of your broadcast in terms of TVs in today's day and age. Like, how many young people and watch their stuff on their laptop or their phone or a tablet, and all those things now can be broadcast onto your phone or onto your TV from those things. So like a lot of people don't even have like a TV setup that some of us older people had when we grew up, or maybe some of us are still holding on to. Like, it's not even like an option or something these people think about. And then on top of that, just basic cable TV has gotten ridiculously expensive. You're better off just having some sort of streaming service. And then on top of that, so Tori, you have YouTube TV, right?
Yeah, I pay for that. Like
$80,
$90 a month, bro.
Right. And so can you just like watch that wherever you are?
Yeah. Very simple. Okay. Very easy.
Right. Yeah. So like tonight when I wanted to watch the NBA draft or the NFL draft, if you were at your son's soccer practice or taking them out to Panda Express afterwards, you could watch that on your phone because you have YouTube TV, right?
Yep.
Okay. I have Xfinity, right? Oh, this channel only works in your home, connected to your home internet. So ESPN, Root Sports, all that stuff. It says it for all the channels I want to watch sports on. So like I pay like $300 a month for cable and internet, and I can't even watch the game like 10 minutes away from my house, or watch the draft 10 minutes away from my freaking house. Like, it's so stupid how these people think that's okay to do in this day and age. Like,
and I bet you Xfinity's lost customers because of that. I'm not one of them because of that.
Yeah, I mean, but do you know how stupid that is, Tori, that I had to watch it like on an illegal stream tonight, just like when I'm paying $300 a month for their service? Like, it's stupid, man. And that's so to sit up there when they signed that deal, and then last year to reiterate it again that, oh well, we did the deal that got the most amount of people our broadcast. Like, no, you didn't. It's just they don't understand how it works. And they're really lucky that Seattle has not gotten a team yet back, because if Seattle had a team right now, I mean, just think of how many less people from north of Portland would be watching them instead of us right now, right? Like, they're lucky that this is the only team within hundreds of miles, right? There's nothing even close for the Pacific Northwest, right? So if they didn't have that, I mean, they would be really screwed right now. So they're lucky that they even have a market where there's no competition, and they still can't even get it right. It's disgusting, man. Like, and I don't understand how a business or a sports franchise that's worth billions of dollars can act this way, you know?
Just a poorly run franchise. I mean, this is a good example of them being poorly ran, you know? There's some people that question why people are fed up with Jody, but the organization isn't ran well. Like, and
it's because she's a woman, Tori.
Yeah, I mean, people will defend. Yeah, you know, I don't even want to get into that.
But like,
BS. But it's just a poorly ran organization, and it's a poor TV deal. It screws over the fans, and it's a lack of business sense, and it's a lack of logic. Like, you don't. Kyle Wilson said it. I think it was Kyle Wilson. Yeah, Kyle Wilson said it in chat, and it's on point. He said, "First rule in marketing: don't abandon your core audience to chase a demographic that may not care for you." They're not the people that are going to be buying merchandise. They're not the people that are going to be going to games. They're not the people that are going to be invested in the offseason. They're not the people that are going to care to watch the trail, right? So that's the problem, is you abandon your core audience in a way because you make it harder for them to actually watch games. You price some of them out because Xfinity is ridiculous. And then the only option to watch on my phone is like freaking Fubo, which sucks, by the way. Awful product. And you're abandoning them so you can be on a 70-year-old's cable setup because they're still on cable in their home in the mountains in freaking Montana. It's not sensical. So the Kraken go to KGW. If you're a Kraken fan, congratulations. If you're a Kraken fan in the Portland area, because it's going to be really easy to watch that team now. I might start watching that team now. I mean, I can go on YouTube TV and, you know, in the middle of the season when the Blazers aren't playing, and if I'm bored, I can easily just toss it up on YouTube TV, on a smart TV, or on my phone, or on my computer, or on anything I want to. So, I mean, that's how you get new fans, is you make it easy for them to watch. So you make them... You control your product. You make sure it's not available on just freaking Fubo and Xfinity, which locks you into your house in order to watch it. That's how you actually bring in new fans. And they've just completely failed this TV deal, and it's a little frustrating to see a team get out of the Root Sports debacle from Seattle and get into the Portland area with KGW.
I know. That's so sad, huh? But,
I mean, we'll see. They might figure out something before next year, and we'll talk about it. I mean, I don't think it's anywhere near a sure thing that the Blazers are back with Root Sports next year. Fingers crossed that they're not.
Mm-hmm. Well, like something you said about like not pandering to viewers that aren't in your demographic or whatever. Like, it is important to like attract new viewers and stuff. But like, if your product is hard to find and hard to get,
yeah.
Like, that doesn't attract new viewers. That's not the way to go about it. Like, just having it on a TV, like you mentioned, in some random city that's hundreds of miles away from here isn't, like, that's not targeting a demographic. Because those people, like, maybe if this team was, like, a championship contender or something, they'd watch. But none of those that aren't Blazer fans are going to watch a team that's as crappy as the Blazers were this year.
Especially when you have to go to channel like 1,293.
Right. So the problem is most stuff. So, okay, the women's basketball thing is a good example, because women's basketball just had like incredible ratings for the NCAA tournament. It could have just been like the perfect storm of things with Caitlin Clark and the rematch against LSU, and then playing against UConn, and then the championship game against the undefeated team. Like, yes, there was some really intriguing storylines there. But the reason why it was so successful is because they got a ton of casual viewers, and it was easily accessible. It was on, I think it was on ESPN and Channel 2 here, like KTU, right? And so like it was easy to find on main channels. And on top of that, so women's basketball has like they've grown a decent core audience. It's not like great, but they have their core audience. They're not pissing off that core audience to get those new viewers, right? They're adding viewers to it because it's an exciting product, and this was like, they were really good games and stuff like that. And obviously Caitlin Clark's an exciting player to watch. And so they're like building on something. They're not saying like, oh, well, we don't care about all these people that watch women's basketball no matter who's playing. We just want to find like those hundreds of people that are going to watch because of Caitlin Clark and then never watch again. That makes no sense if that was their thinking, right? Like, no, you want all these people to continue to watch after this, right? Like, so like, it just, to me, it seems weird. And I don't know how many like kids growing up that can't watch games or their parents aren't watching games because they can't find them or the product's bad are going to, like 10 years from now, are we going to have a lot less Blazer fans in the Portland area because kids don't care about the Blazers because they didn't grow up with them or anything? Like, I don't know, man. It's going to be weird.
Yeah. We'll see how they, we'll see where they go with this TV deal. If they're back on Root Sports next year, it's going to be a massive failure. And the fan base is fed up with Root Sports. Even the fan base, the part of the fan base that defends the organization, a lot of them are fed up with the TV package, right? And it's, you know, the problem is a lot of people in this fan base just kind of assume that, like, people that are in powerful positions know what they're doing because they're in those powerful positions, or they, you know, care about the fan base. It's just a little bit of naivety. I mean, they want to try and make as much money as possible, and sometimes business sense gets thrown to the side for that, unfortunately, and this TV deal is a perfect example of that, in my opinion. So hopefully they fix it.
Yeah, there's two things. One, I just want to say it's been multiple presidents, some experienced, some not. It's been multiple GMs, two owners now with Paul and Jody. Like, you know, Vulcan's been there the whole time, so I guess you could put a lot of blame on Bert Cold and them. But like, this isn't a case where I think it's just because of this, but having an owner who's never really owned anything, a president who is completely inexperienced and was hired from within, a GM who is completely inexperienced and hired from within, you know, all without other interviews, by the way. All these people are just hired without any sort of search or process to find the best candidate. And then a coach who had never been coached. Like, we just have a bunch of people who are seemingly good people, but like, they don't have any experience with any of this stuff. So no wonder it's like turning out this way, right? Like, it's just, I mean, it's just like a joke, right?
Yeah. Yep. Anyway,
people wonder why we get so negative, right? Like, yeah. What is there to be good about?
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's yeah. I don't feel like defending myself against people that say we're negative anymore, man. I mean,
right.
Just look at the state of everything. Like, I'm not going to have blind optimism. I never will. I'm not going to sit here and try and tell the people that watch the show that this TV deal is a good deal when nobody thinks that. Like, it's bad, and I feel like, you know, it's pretty easy to figure out why it doesn't even make sense for the Blazers standpoint. Regardless, man, hopefully they'll get a new TV deal, and I'll be positive if they do. I'll come up here and celebrate and pop some champagne if they end up on like Fox 12 or Coin 6 or anything that I can get on YouTube TV in the Portland area. Please. Until then, I'm going to complain. I'm going to whine. I'm going to cry about the freaking Root Sports deal because it sucks.
I would take it being on like Amazon or Netflix or something at this point, right?
Anything. I can't even pay to get it on a decent streaming thing that I could watch on my phone. I would pay for whatever, but I don't want to pay for freaking Fubo because it's crap. Like there's like no options. That's the problem. When there's no options, then you really got a problem on your hands. I gotta sit in my house all evening to watch the game and then do a post game show. I don't want to do that. Sucks. Anyway, speaking of sucking, Eric, the Cavs suck today.
Yeah, the Cavs are bad today. They just like felt bad for the Magic and wanted to give them a game, or what?
I don't know, dude. I mean, the Magic 83 and 86 points their first two games, and then the Cavs are like, it's our turn to score 83. And they lose by 38.
Maybe they thought they could win if they scored 83 points.
I mean, if they caught the Magic from the first couple of games, maybe, but the Magic put 121 on the board. Their offense finally breaks out in the playoffs. Banchero, 31, 14, and 5. 13 for 26. Franz Wagner, 6 for 12 from the field. Still struggling from 3, 1 for 5. But he was decent today. And then my guy, Eric. My freaking guy, Jalen Suggs. 24 points. 9 for 11 from the field. 3 for 5 from 3. He might be the most underrated player in the playoffs this year. It's hard to think of somebody more. I don't know. Like, he gets his flowers a little bit, but he is so freaking good.
I'm glad because what was that game 1 where he had to be walked off the court?
I think it was game 2, actually, yeah.
Looks like his season was over, so good to see that wasn't something serious. But
lockdown defense, efficient scoring. He's still, like 22 years old? Yeah, he's still 22 years old.
Yeah, he should get some consideration for the all defensive teams this year. See if that happens or not.
I don't know if he'll ever be like a all-star because I don't know if his offense will ever become that good, but like he's going to be one of those elite role players for years to come, like the Marcus Smart, Derek White type of role players that the Celtics had. And that's the type of guy that like every team needs, that's going to play hard, lock down defensively, and can score the ball, and can pass the ball a little bit. He just isn't really relied on to pass like, I expected him coming into the league. But perfect role player, man. Perfect role player. Top-notch role player. Better than any role player I feel like we have.
Yeah, for sure.
He would be such a perfect third guard behind any two of our three guards.
Yeah.
Man. Anyway, I love my Gonzaga guys. They tend to come into the league and play well. There's a narrative that I've heard in the past year even that Gonzaga guys never pan out in the league. I don't understand where that's came from, and Gonzaga guys do pretty well for themselves. Andrew Nembhard had a really good game. Game 2 for the Pacers. Unfortunately, it was against Dame. But, dude, Garland just has these, like, awful nights. He's very prone to just being completely terrible. He's 2 for 10, 5 points, 6 assists. Like, they need more from him.
I think it's hard to be consistent when you're inconsistently having the ball in your hands. Like, Donovan Mitchell obviously has the ball a lot too. But back when it was just Garland's team, I don't think he had as many off nights like this. So, yeah, I think it's just you just got to kind of live with that when you're not always the guy on your team anymore. And
the Cavs have too many guys that disappear off the bench. Like, they're playing Tristan Thompson 10 minutes, Isaac Okoro over in 16 minutes. George Niang will randomly just not make a shot, especially in the playoffs. And then Karis LeVert is pretty inefficient.
And Dean Wade got hurt and is out for the rest of this series at least, so that hurts as well because he's probably one of their most dependable guys off the bench.
They're top heavy. They're kind of built like, well, not at the power forward spot, but they're kind of built like the Blazers where they just have that, scoring backcourt with no bench. I'm not impressed with their bench at all. So I think the Magic can come back and win the series.
Yeah, of course they can.
I think it's very possible. I don't think Cleveland is better than them.
I don't know about that. If you watch the first two games, I think it looked like Cleveland definitely was better.
Yeah, because the Magic couldn't make a shot
tonight, obviously, but
I think these teams are pretty equal,
shooters.
and it's just been blowouts at home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens in a close game and see which team can pull out.
Yeah.
I would assume it's going to be the Cavs because they have Donovan Mitchell, who's done it in close games in the playoffs before, and the Magic don't have that experience, but I think it's very possible the Magic can push this to 6 or 7 and even win the series. And I hope that's the case.
Yeah, at least, I mean, it doesn't seem like many people care about this series. The games have been on NBA TV while the other games have been on TNT and stuff. I saw Matt asked earlier if Kevin Calabro was on the call of this one. Yes, yeah. He's been on the call for the series. But yeah, I think that's the only way you can get anyone to care about this series. Well, one, they need a close game, like you said, but two, I mean, it's got to go like 6 or 7 for people to pay attention to it.
Yeah, facts. But speaking of a series that people are definitely paying attention to.
Before we get on to that next game, there was a donation earlier.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, forgot to read it. We got on the Root Sports Tangent. Shout out to M. Alam with the $5 donation. Thank you, Alam. Sorry it took a minute to read it. Says, I have to respect both of your grinds. Blazers have been so bad and you guys still show up every night. Thoughts on the Blazers' plan for next year? Their plan or our plan for them? Because those are
our plan
like
for
two
them
different
doesn't
plans.
matter.
Yeah.
We know they're going to do their thing no matter what we think.
Yeah, I mean, their plan, if they're trying to be the 10th seed and that's what they're gearing up for, then that's a mistake, and that's kind of what I feel like it is. Anyway, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think, obviously, Cronin has been known to lie in the past, but I don't think he's lying when he says they're still in talent acquisition mode and they're trying to improve the roster. And hopefully that means young-ish talent that can still grow and has, higher ceilings, and not older vets that'll help them win games.
My biggest worry is Brandon Ingram becomes available.
Yeah.
You know how much I would hate Ingram, Grant, Ayton?
Yeah.
And people would think it's like Cronin is cooking. Ingram with Grant with Ayton. You're legitimately paying $100 million combined a year for 3 guys that love contested mid-range shots. None of them are stars. None of them are particularly good defensively. Ingram can kind of pass, like he's willing to pass, but Ingram and Grant kind of ISO heavy. For what? For the 9th seed? Like, yeah, we might be able to win a game in the first round against the Nuggets. For maybe what, man? Cool, yeah. Maybe we'll play our way into the playoffs just to get smoked. Is that our goal here? Like, it's disgusting. And then what? We lose our pick finally. Yay! Chicago finally gets our pick in a loaded draft next year. Like, what's the plan? Like, if Ingram becomes available, I kind of expect Blazers to be a team that's after him. I don't know. I don't think he's going to become available, but like that's the type of guy that I could see this team going after that I just absolutely would not want. Yeah. That would be gross. But he's a big name, so people would say Cronin cooked.
What if it was Ingram for Ayton? Hold on. Would Torrey Jones rather have DeAndre Ayton next year or Brandon Ingram? I'm serious. What?
I'm gonna ask chat this question.
Are you gonna turn down Brandon Ingram for DeAndre Ayton after you hated on Ayton the entire year?
Not the entire year.
Okay,
when he started playing better, I gave him his flowers. I'm gonna ask chat this question. Who would you rather have, chat? And then I'll answer it.
This is hilarious.
Brandon Ingram, what a question. You know what? What do you think I'm going to say? Brandon Ingram because you hate Ayton.
I think you're gonna say Ayton. Oh, that's so weird. You watch a stream from 2 months ago, right? Before the trade deadline.
I would rather have It's close. Okay, it's close.
Yeah.
Nobody's voting in the chat poll. It only has 4 votes. Or it's glitched.
Come on, people, vote.
Oh, there we go. There's all the Ayton votes. I knew chat would go for Ayton. If we had Brandon Ingram on the team and not Ayton, then people would vote for Brandon Ingram. That's just the way it is. I would rather have Brandon Ingram on the team, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I would rather have Brandon Ingram than Deandre Ayton.
What if we got Sar and then traded Ayton for Ingram?
Like, if we traded Ayton for Ingram, I wouldn't even hate it that much. It's the thought of having Ingram with Grant with Ayton that just is disgusting to me.
What if we traded Grant for Ingram?
We traded Grant for another version of Grant that passes a little more and shoots a little worse. You know, and is a little bit more of a small forward. Which probably isn't the move, you know. We need a power forward. Sar will be fine rebounding. I'm not worried about Sar rebounding. That's the last thing I'm worried about with a rookie. That's 7-1. He just needs to get stronger, but he will. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like peak Ayton is somebody that's barely efficient. Like, will rack up some uncontested rebounds, but won't do a great job keeping bigs off the defensive glass. He's not getting to the free throw line. He's not spacing the floor. Like, he played pretty damn good second half of the year, but it wasn't like top 20 player in the league good or anything like that. And I fully expect Ayton to not play that well for the entirety of next season. Because that's what he's always done. Is he's always had, like, good stretches for a month or two and then reverted back.
But he also, I mean, he hit a bunch of mid-range shots, like, because he got a bunch more. You know, like, I mean, he had a high percentage. You got to give him credit for that, but, like...
I'm not sold on Ayton or Grant as long-term answers at their positions for this team. I don't think Ayton will ever start a game for the Blazers in the second round of the playoffs or later.
I don't necessarily think that's Ayton's fault, though.
I mean, we're far away from being there, so
right?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, both players are flawed, and both players are making max contracts, and both players are like fringe stars when they have it going, and that's it.
I mean, like, if we got Sar and, like, Connect or something in this draft, and...
Oh, God, we got the squid dude that never is capable of having conversations. Great. It's not hating on Ayton. Do you think he's a star? Is he an all-star? Is he an all-star? Is his good stretches indicative of how he always is? I mean, come on. The thing is a player like that has a good month and a half stretch, and then everybody wants to act like that's who they are when it's a good stretch. You got to take the good with the bad from a player. A player is who he is when he's at his highest and when he's at his lowest.
Well, also, we've seen time and time again players on crappy teams put up big numbers, and it's not the same once the pressure of having to win is on them. So for the first time ever with Ayton, I am hopeful that he turned a corner maybe and figured some things out. Maybe he's maturing and wants to take on more of a leadership role and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to believe it. Just like Banton, you know, like Banton took he didn't play necessarily different than he had in other locations. He just got a bunch of minutes and got to take as many shots as he wanted in our offense. So,
I mean, it's the same stuff where it's like Josh Hart is a star because he averaged 26 25-4 on insane efficiency while we tanked for 11 games. You know what I mean? Ayton did it for a larger sample, but we've seen guys look phenomenal on tanking teams with no pressure, no expectations. Teams that they're playing aren't taking them too seriously. Like, we can't just act like Ayton playing for a tanking team and playing well is exactly who Ayton's always going to be. Because he's been a guy that struggled with adversity in the past, right? So you place more expectations on him. I want to see how he answers. Like, it's not like he's without his flaws. And that's the problem I have with a lot of people is they just, like, completely wash over his flaws. And it's like they think has great efficiency, right? Because he shoots. I don't know. He shot like the same percentage from 2 that Nurk did last year, and these same people that were killing Nurk for his inefficiency inside the arc will turn around and say Ayton was really efficient. Had great efficiency inside the arc. Now, you can pick like a 1-month stretch of his best play and be like, look, that's efficient because, yeah, it's his best stretch of the entire season. But until he has like an entire season like that, I'm just going to take the good with the bad because there's always been good and bad with him. And his efficiency is not like good for a center if you look at full seasons the past couple of years. Basically, if you're high on Ayton, it's because you think that the good stretch he had second half of the year, he can do that for an entire season with more expectations placed on him. And if he does, great. But I'm not going to act like that's what he is already before he proves that, if that makes sense. So that's where it's like, Ingram's a good player too. Choosing Ingram over Deandre Ayton isn't really that much of an insult. I don't like those guys paired together. I don't like Ingram, Grant, Ayton. I don't like committing $100 million to a small forward, power forward, and center combo where none of them are star caliber players in a rebuild. Like, it just doesn't really make sense to me. So,
and also, when you're talking about efficiency, it's near impossible to keep up. I mean, his efficiency wasn't even great. Was his true shooting percentage was like 58% or something. So like,
I think that's below average for a starting center.
It's fine, but it's not efficient either. It's just fine. Like, and unless he gets to the free throw line more, or expands his game out and starts hitting threes, I think it's just. I don't think you can call him efficient. I mean, it's not. We're not knocking him. He did great the last couple months of the season, and but you can't say he was efficient or had great efficiency because he still wasn't getting to the line and still was just shooting mostly mid-range jump shots, which he is good at, but that's not efficient in today's NBA to just shoot 15-foot jump shots.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm sitting here talking about a guy who had a 65% true shooting percentage on the season. Then you could call me out on, like, you're wrong, you're hating on him, you're saying he's not efficient, but he had a true shooting percentage of 65% on the season. Like, yeah, but I'm not going to call a guy who's that efficient. I think true shooting percentage is the best metric to look at for efficiency because getting to the free throw line is an efficient play and should be accounted for. That is the best metric to look at for efficiency and should absolutely take that into account. So I do that with Ayton. Like, a lot of big men can get to the line more, which is a very efficient play. And he shoots mid-ranges instead. Like, so that's the thing. It's, in the offensive scheme, I don't think is the big determinant of Ayton's shots. He loves mid-range, which is fine when he's hitting them. It's fine when he's hitting them. It's just not, like, as good as people act like it is. He's a fine player who has some flaws, who's on a max contract. I don't think the Blazers should be completely married to him. It's hard to shoot 16-footers and never get to the free throw line and be an efficient big man. So it's not like he sets great screens. I wasn't too impressed with his defense this past year. He didn't really feel like he had an impact on that end. He's an okay player.
Yeah, he did do a much better job, like One Piece says, after post All-Star break, of hanging out around the rim a little more, rolling for lobs a couple times a game, that kind of stuff. It still didn't equate to many more free throws, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. Final thing I want to say on this, because we got to move on in the show. We're running a little behind here. Taylor Packer says, Ayton was surrounded by trash, and he's a guy that needs to be set up. Given the horrible environment, I think he did pretty good. But that's the thing with Ayton, is he's a guy that needs to be set up, which is more role player than star. So that's my entire point, basically, is he's a guy that needs to be set up. He's not a guy you give the ball to and he's going to run your offense, make things easier on others, right? Distribute. And listen, the only reason we have that conversation is because he's paid a max contract. If he was being paid $10, $15 million, it'd be like, that's fine. That's completely fine, because he's being paid like a role player. But the problem is when you're being paid like a star and the team is $9 million into the tax in the offseason, and he's like a really, really good role player instead, that's where it's like, I don't think they should be married to him because of that. If you can get somebody better than Ayton, you get somebody better than Ayton for the long term. If you can. We can argue about what that is, but that's where it is.
Also, to be clear, the fact that we're even okay with him being on the team after this year, when we were ready to give him up for an expiring contract at the trade deadline, I think that shows that we actually did change our mind a little bit.
Thomas Ramsey says, that isn't Ayton's fault, though. Where the hell did I say it was Ayton's fault? I never said it was Ayton's fault. That's just the situation. That's just what it is. So I never said it's Ayton's fault. I'm not blaming Ayton like, oh, the Suns gave you a max deal. What is wrong with you, Ayton? Of course he's going to try and get the bag, and the Suns paid him a bag, and then the Blazers traded for that bag. It's just put us in a situation where the cap is screwed for a rebuilding team because you're paying Grant plus Ayton over $60 million a year in a rebuild for what? It doesn't really make sense to me. And if Ayton sticks around long enough to be that guy and is good enough to actually be the starting center on a team that makes a run at a championship one day in Portland, great. I just think with how fast things change in the NBA, that's going to be tough. And it's going to come to a situation where Portland, he's probably going to test his value in free agency when he becomes a free agent. And how much is he going to fetch? How much is he going to demand? There's things that can pop up with that. If the Blazers get Alex Sarr in the draft, right, he might be a better long-term starting center, and then you move off from Ayton. But that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. But nobody's blaming Ayton for being paid a max. He played well enough to get Indiana to offer him an offer sheet that paid him a max, and then Phoenix matched it. It's just the situation this team is in financially is rough this offseason. And that contributes to it. So, but trading him for Ingram, you're still in the same position financially. It's another guy on a max contract that isn't quite an all-star caliber player right now. So,
yeah. So real quick, Squid says thoughts on trading Brogdon to the 76ers for the 16th pick. Okay, one, the Sixers aren't going to do that before the draft. Take up their cap space when they're gonna be going after a Paul George or something. Yeah. Two, we just had to listen to every single Blazers media person tell us how crappy this draft was and how we don't want to trade Brogdon for a first round pick in this draft when we could have earlier this season. Three, Brogdon might be screwed medically, and so he might not even be available to be traded. And four, everything I've heard is that the Blazers are looking to move the Golden State pick and don't want to draft a second player in this draft anyway. So why would they add a third draft pick to that? Doesn't really make a ton of sense. So I would put the chances of that happening at very, very, very low. The only way I could see the Philadelphia 76ers trading anything of value for Brogdon is if they completely whiff in free agency several weeks later and are just completely desperate to use some of their cap space before it's gone, because they really only have a limited window with Maxi's extension, or they have to match if he signs a contract elsewhere. I think that's pretty much a non-starter.
I mean, I don't agree with their thinking. I'm a fan of this draft too. Like, if you could get a mid-first for Brogdon with his injury issues, you do that in a heartbeat.
Absolutely,
but, you know, they're trying to trade out of the 14th pick, which I think is a mistake because I agree with the comment in chat that says I'm a fan of this draft. Lots of solid choices that could be great role players. I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that could be better role players than some of the role players the Blazers have on this team, including the guy they took with the 23rd pick last year, right? And people call this a weak draft, but it's weak in terms of upside and maybe star power. It's not weak in terms of solid role players. And that's the mistake that people make, is they just gloss over an entire 58 pick draft with a brush, one single brush, and say it's weak. There's a lot more that goes into a draft. There's certain types of players, certain types of positions are stronger, certain types of positions are weaker. There might be more guys that project as good role players instead of stars, but if you're looking for role players, that's a good thing, right? And the Blazers shouldn't, be shying away from using that 14th pick or trading for another first-round pick. I think they should have done it at the deadline if they could have with Brogdon, but I think his medicals, that situation is rough, and it's going to be fascinating to see the way it plays out because I am not confident the Blazers being able to get back anything of value from Malcolm Brogdon. And I think in hindsight, it's going to be, they couldn't trade him at the deadline because of his injury. And then this is why they had to, they had to duck the tax, so they were out leveraged, even though it's Joe Cronin's own doing. And that's why they only got back a second-round pick for him, or whatever. That's kind of how I expect things to go. But I don't know. It's hard to predict how that situation plays out. Anyway, let's get the show on the road. Sixers, Knicks, Embiid, 50 points. Did you see him Grayson Allen to Mitchell Robinson, where he yanked his leg while he jumped? Should he have been ejected?
Yes, he should have been.
Yeah, you can't do that, man. You can't do that.
That was dirty. That's one of the rules of basketball. You don't grab someone's legs. You don't undercut someone. Yeah. That's completely dirty. And could he maybe be facing a suspension after they look at that? Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but
I don't think they will, though.
Yeah, I don't think they will either.
Injury BS he's going through already, and it being the playoffs and it being Embiid, it's not in the NBA's best interest,
On the flip side, it came out today that he had a minor bout of Bell's palsy, which kind of paralyzes your face.
Yeah. And
so that's why he's been looking kind of weird lately. But
he can't blink his right eye.
Hopefully he's okay with that. But yeah, you can't be doing that stuff on the court. And I guess Mitchell Robinson left the arena in a walking boot tonight. So
was it from that play?
He's okay. I don't know. He went down. I don't know if he came back in the game or not. I was kind of watching the draft more than that game, but I don't remember. But he definitely is not 100%.
Yeah. It was even worse because he yanked his leg, and then he shoved him after it too. It wasn't just the leg pull when he was trying to jump. So he should have been ejected. Instead, he drops 50 to beat the Knicks. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm glad the Sixers won because I want the series to go long because this is two good teams with some star power, with some a little bit of hatred because it's New York and Philadelphia, right? Geographically, they're close. And I would love to see a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden between these two teams. So I was happy that it wasn't a 3-0 series lead for the Knicks. I'm happy that the Sixers fought back to get this to 2-1. I hope they get it to 2-2. I hope this series goes long because it's been fun to watch these games. Chaos. It's been so chaotic watching some of these games between these teams.
Well, this series is not that far away from being 3-0 in Philly's favor right now because they had a big lead at the beginning of Game 1, which kind of withered down. Josh Hart hits a big 3 late in that one. Mm-hmm. And then Game 2, they're up 5 with 30 seconds left and somehow lose in regulation. So,
Rough stuff, man. Because, that choke job that they had at the end of Game 2, I mean, this series would be looking a lot different right now. You'd have a chance to go up 3-1 in Game 4 at home. So that swings the entire series, one non-timeout call, one bounce the ball, one hustle rebound by Isaiah Hartenstein. Every possession matters in the playoffs, and Game 2, the end of that one, was a perfect indicator of that. But there is one series that is over, Eric.
Oh, shame. Lakers season is unraveling. They cannot beat the Nuggets, man. Maybe there was something to, it was that JJ Redick who said that the Lakers should have lost their first playing game on purpose to avoid the Nuggets. But yeah, I mean, this series was over when they lost that game 2 lead, much like the Philly one. But
They're just not good. Like, they made the Western Conference Finals last year, but it wasn't an impressive run, and then they get swept.
yeah,
And now they're going to get swept again, probably.
it really feels like, I mean, Jokic is still young enough to be included in this part, but it really feels like some of these older teams, like the Suns with Durant, the Warriors with Curry and Green and Thompson, and the Lakers with LeBron, it feels like those teams are kind of screwed right now. And it feels like the young teams are gunning for them and have taken them over in terms of
Dude,
like contention.
this offseason is going to be fascinating to see what the Lakers and the Warriors do. They're
think-
championship winners. They got Hall of Famers that are aging, and they are not competitive at the highest level anymore. So do they just keep running it back and losing and losing and losing? Like knowing that they can't win a championship? Are the veterans okay with that? Because, you know, LeBron's in LA and won a championship with them and likes being a Laker, and Steph has been with the Warriors his whole career. Those two storylines kind of parallel each other a little bit, and it's going to be fascinating to see if either of those teams make some drastic changes that they haven't made in previous years, because it's a problem. But I kind of expect both of them to just run it back with the same status quo and have the same result next year, because this Lakers team, it's going to be the same result as last year. It's the same exact crap. Instead of happening in the Western Conference Finals, though, they got the Nuggets in the first round this time, and they're down 3-0, so.
They might need to like team up at some point to try like one last run with KD, Steph, and LeBron on. I don't know what team it would be on, but like I don't know if that team's winning it anymore. Like because I'll be a year older next year. Like that's man. But LeBron, I guess, could be on a new team next year if Bronny stays in the draft and and the Lakers don't take him. Yeah.
It's gonna be. We'll see if they win Game 4, though. I feel like they might win Game 4 and finally slay those demons before getting destroyed in Denver in Game 5.
Yeah. I really want LeBron to go back to Cleveland.
That would be fun.
I think he would be awesome as
It would make sense.
the final starter on that team. Like that'd be really cool. But
It would make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, we gotta get into the bread and butter. Like we gotta before you pass out.
yeah,
We got a mock draft to do. We're going to end the stream with a mock draft, okay? And we're going to do Tankathon to determine the order. So you're going to get your Tankathon, you're going to get your mock draft. But before we get into that, this stream of Blazers Uprise Live is brought to you by BetUS. America's favorite sports book is BetUS, featuring live betting and racebook. They're celebrating their 30th year anniversary with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. You can get started today by using my sign-up link in the description box below, and promo code. Alrighty, shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this live stream. If you want to get in on NBA playoff action, you can get in on individual game spread lines, or you can get in on playoff money lines. Basically, bet on who you think is going to win the series. And if you think, the Magic can come back, you can get pretty good odds on that. And if you use the link to sign up, it helps us out, and you can get that 125% bonus. And I'm also giving away $25 in free play to anyone who wants it. So if you have a BetUS account, hit me up, Twitter or Discord. Now,
free $25 play.
On top of a 125% bonus. And our chat's pretty smart basketball-wise. Like, I think they could actually make that pay off if they want to. So, chat, let me know. Just message me if you want that free play. All right, Eric, let's set the order for the mock draft. These Tankathon simulations are extra special because it feels like they actually mean something, because then we do something with them.
Yeah.
We don't have to go over the odds anymore. We can literally just simulate this thing and scroll up from the bottom. And then we'll head over to Fanspo and we'll do this mock draft. And we'll try and fly through it. Of course, talk about a few players. But here we go. Will the Blazers have 2 lottery picks? Yes, they will. 13 Sacramento. At 12 is OKC. At 11 is Chicago. At 10 is Atlanta. At 9 is Houston. At 8 is Utah. So far it's chalk. Good news for the Blazers. At 7 is the Spurs via Toronto, meaning Memphis is in the top 4. At 6 is the San Antonio Spurs, which means Portland should be at 5. And at 5, Eric, is your Portland Trail Blazers. I don't think we've gotten a single Tinkathon sim where we've been 5th.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Because if we do odds and even, one of us has 5, one of us has 14. So
yeah, man, which one should we each have? I don't know. At 4, we got Washington. At 3, we got Charlotte. At 2, we got Detroit. And at 1, we got the Memphis Grizzlies. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch back to here. I'm going to pour that lottery into Fanspo. It's kind of a weird way to explain it. And then we'll get this mock draft underway, Eric.
Man, I made some changes, took out some players in my mock draft, or my big board that were staying in college or whatever, and it, like, the page reset before I saved it on Fanspo, and
Dang.
I lost it all.
You hate to see that. Okay. New custom order. Should we do Fanspo consensus, ESPN consensus, or my big board? Which draft board? I'm gonna stream it.
I don't care what you do for the stream.
I'll do ESPN. Chat, actually, yeah, let me know in chat while I set this order. What about Chomche? Is it Chomche? I've heard Chomche a lot.
Chomche.
Chomche?
Chomche, I think is how you say it.
Chomche. Fanspo? Okay, arcades, I'll do it. Andrew says Fanspo as well. Alright, we'll do Fanspo consensus. Custom draft order. 1 was Memphis. Do you want odds or even, Eric?
I don't care. Who was 2?
2 was, okay, Memphis, Detroit, Charlotte, Washington. Detroit, Charlotte, Washington. Then it was Portland. Then it was San Antonio twice. Which makes it easy. Alrighty. And then chalk. Okay. We are ready. America's favorite sports. Played the commercial. Alright. So we got the draft order.
Jazz were 8, and then everything past there was the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me make sure am selecting for every team. All teams, okay. Lotto Sim 425, verified draft order. Here we go. I'm looking forward to this. So, who's evens, who's odds? The Blazers have 5 and 14, so whoever's odds will pick for 5, whoever's evens will pick for 14. Do you have any preference, Eric?
Nope.
What's the date today? Do you want to flip a coin then?
Sure. This one, shouldn't our pick be 34?
Yeah, 34.
I have to switch the Bucks and ours.
Who carries coins? I think I got a coin somewhere around here. I don't know. Tori is the odd one of you. Wow. Okay.
That clinches it.
I kind of want evens, though.
All right, I'll take odds. Let's go.
Okay. Because I want to see what you do at 5.
All right, so now the next question.
Mm-hmm.
Are we drafting who we think this team will take? Or are we doing a...
Let's just say you were installed as GM, so you got some people like in your ear trying to convince you to like take who you think they would take, but you get final say.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
All right.
So
I'm not
Chomchi
like I'm not taking Chomchi at 1 like I would if I was the GM, but no, just kidding.
Yeah.
But I think we should lean more towards what we think the team would take.
I mean, there's really not much consensus. Like, if I have like a crazy, I don't know, like take it into account a little bit, but I think this year more than ever we can just make our own picks. Honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm making my own picks. Screw it. Just make your own picks.
All right.
I'll roast you if you pick Chomchi at 1, though.
I am well aware of where Chomchi is on mock drafts. All right, go ahead. Or
your
odds.
Your odds. Yeah.
All
your
right.
Odds.
How do I start the draft?
I don't know.
Oh, there it is. Start draft. All right. With the first pick in the April 25th Blazers Uprise.
This is gonna take forever if we do it like this.
I was joking. Obviously, Alex Sarr.
Yeah, no surprise there.
They're gonna pair Alex Sarr with Jaren Jackson and form an unstoppable wall. And yeah.
Oh man! All right, this gets fascinating. So they have Cade. Cade's big enough to like play the 2, but also be a point. I want somebody that can shoot next to him. I want somebody that can get buckets next to him. I think Asar can play the 3. You need some shooting. Another guy that could run pick and rolls with Duran. At 2, I go Rob Dillingham for Detroit. I gotta pull up chat on my phone. Where's my phone? Over here.
Wait, what the heck?
People saying Rob Dillingham is crazy. I don't think it's crazy at all. He's 5 on ESPN's big board. Pistons have Jaden Ivey. He can come off the bench. You good, Eric? Up at 3 is Charlotte.
Oh. I'm gonna have to trade these. Why did it not?
I mean, I can just tell you who Charlotte took. Like,
no, I know. I'm just.
Dillingham at 2 is not crazy. Just unsure about that in Detroit. I mean, but who else are you taking for Detroit though? Like Reed Shepherd would make some sense, but he's just as small as Dillingham, and Dillingham can play off the ball. Dillingham can shoot. Dillingham might be just as good of a shooter as Shepherd. Holland, I mean, his lack of an outside shot. I think Detroit needs somebody that can play on and off the ball. I wouldn't hate Matas, but his shooting questions with Detroit, like you got Asar there. Asar and Holland are kind of weird together for me. So I like that Cade's big enough to play the 2.
All right. The
third pick, Charlotte. Who you
third
taking?
pick is Charlotte Hornets. Cutting ties with Miles Bridges this offseason, hopefully. So basically, got LaMelo, Brandon Miller. Hopefully, Mark Williams can come back healthy next year after not playing much this year. man, there's a couple of guys I would consider here, but I think ultimately I'm going to take Buzelis and hope that him and Brandon Miller just form a dynamic front court. So I'm going to take Buzelis.
Got you. No, here's where it gets tough. I mean, you got the Wizards at 4. Their roster is kind of a mess. Like, they got multiple wings. I think they're in position to swing for upside. I like Ron Holland for them. I think with Koulibaly, like 2-3, those guys could be like insane defensively together, and you just hope that Ron Holland learns how to shoot. I'm going Holland. Too. Yeah, Avdia has played some 4 for them, but they could always move off him. You know, their roster is very fluid. So I like taking Holland there with the upside. All right, at 5, Eric, you got the Blazers.
All right, Chomshay. It's a little tough without the measurements. Mm-hmm. So depending on what Castle measured at, I would consider taking him here if he was legit 6'6", but I'm not going to know that yet. So despite how the season turned out, I think I'm just going to take Cody Williams and hope he becomes a good fit with his potential shooting on the wing.
I like it. Now, here's where things get interesting. The Spurs have back-to-back picks. So, it's basically picking 2 players, but you're going to pick one of them. Edie and Wemby. You know what? I think here you got Wemby. You're building around Wemby. And a player that I like for the Spurs in that instance is just Reed Shepherd. You got somebody that can shoot the way he can next to Wemby. He can run a little bit of pick and roll. Averaged over 4 assists a game at Kentucky. I think it he's kind of one of those defenders too that likes to try and play up, be a pest. He does get beat off the dribble, but he can rack up some steals. He's a little Matisse Thybulle-esque defensively, maybe a little bit more solid. And I think with Wemby behind him, his defense would be pretty solid. So I like Shepherd here at 6. And I'm going to leave you with a tough decision at 7.
I don't think it's that tough. I think, you took the shooter. Shepherd's also a good defender. So I think then if I have back-to-back picks, this is actually the perfect time to take this player and just hope that he becomes that dynamic ball handler and passer, finisher that he looks like he maybe could be. But it's not as much of you're not having to bank on it as much with Reed Shepherd there as you would if you only had one of these 2 picks, if Toronto keeps their pick. So I actually like the upside swing for Topic here for the Spurs. So I'm taking Topic, and I think they just completely revamp their backcourt. I think Vassell can play a little bit of 3, and so you have a really good start to rebuilding around Wemby.
I like that. I took Reed Shepherd thinking that Topic would make a lot of sense after him. I like that. You got somebody that can get Wemby the ball, somebody that can collapse the defense, kick out to a guy like Shepherd. I think it's the start of a functional elite offensive unit. And defensively, you got Wemby behind those guys. I like that a lot. All right, at 8, we got Utah And Utah's roster is a mess. I mean, we could go 2 Walker Kesslers here, you know. They already got Walker Kessler 1. We could go for Walker Kessler 2. We could also go, like, Ricochet is still on the board. But, yeah. I mean, we'll talk about him whenever one of us drafts him. I'm pulling up my big board here. Like, number 1 player easily on my big board right now, I think would make a lot of sense for them, but also they need upside. They're kind of like the Blazers, even more so, Eric. Like, who on their roster is like their guy going forward?
Well, if you believe Danny Ainge, they don't have one, but they want to trade for one this summer.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck with that. They need I feel like they need a little bit more of an upside swing than Castle. You got Keontae George at point guard.
It's kind of a hybrid.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna go Castle. Like, you're building a team a lot of solid, good role players, right? Mm-hmm. They're probably gonna have to trade for their star. Good thing they have a bunch of like draft picks, but they're just too good to draft at the top of the draft. So they either have to get really lucky through the draft, or they're gonna have to trade for a star. I think it's more likely to be the latter. So I'm just gonna go with the best player on the board, really good role player in Castle at 8 to Utah.
All right. All right, so 9 is the Rockets. I mean, who the heck knows what they need? They got a men last year. There's 2 lines of thinking here. One is you can continue to be stupid and continue to add, players that help them win right now. Mm-hmm. Or you could just continue to swing for the fences with high upside. And so there's 2 players I would consider right here. Mm-hmm. I know we're both low on Ricochet, but I think he does make some sense for them. But I kind of like this player mixing with some of their young players. And so this is probably a little higher than a lot of people have him going, but I'm going to take Isaiah Collier to become the Fred VanVleet replacement.
That's who I would have picked. I like that. Now I got hell on my hands here with the Atlanta Hawks, because what the hell are they doing? Like, you got Capella. Okongwu is still stuck battling for minutes with Capella for some reason. You got a million mediocre wings. It's just a disgusting team. Like, they need somebody that can come in and play right away, but possesses some sort of upside. But the Hawks are completely directionless as well. Oh, God. This is just gross, Eric. Like, I think Dalton Connect would make sense here, so that's who I'm rolling with. Could come and play right away, provide some shooting, and maybe has some sneaky upside. That's who I'm going with. Atlanta at 10 is Connect.
All right.
Now you got the Bulls at 11.
Bulls at 11. If I'm the Bulls, I'm obviously tearing it down this summer. But will they? I don't know. So I think
it's the Bulls. They don't like to do that.
Yeah.
I already know who I'd pick for him. Easy.
Yeah. Johnny Furphy.
How'd you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with their situation. I think they need. Well, obviously, if they tear it down, they need pretty much everything. So I'm just going to swing for the fences, and this is where I would take Tejan Salon. And
Salon. I think it's getting into the right range to take him. There's somebody I thought made a lot more sense, to be honest. I might take that player right now.
Go ahead, sir.
I think... I mean, OKC has enough... I mean, they were the 1 seed, youngest 1 seed ever. They have enough star power, right? So you're just looking to add guys that can really make an impact on one end of the floor or the other. I think you're going... I mean, the Thunder are going to need to beat a Wembanyama-led team in the future, right? They're going to need to go through Denver and Jokic. I think Donovan Clingan makes a ton of sense for OKC. They can play Chet at the 5 and have like 5 out, or they can go big with Chet at the 4 because he can certainly play the 4 and you can have Chet next to Clingan, and that could be freaking monstrous defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Clingan is who I liked for the Bulls at 11. I think he would have made sense for the Bulls, but I like Clingan at 12 to OKC. I love that for them.
All right, I like that for OKC. I do not like that for the. I do not like starting a rebuild around Clingan.
Well,
rather swing.
part of it is I don't think they're going to start a rebuild, so they need.
But we're
like
doing what we think. What we're
true. But I mean, it's kind of like we're doing what we think in terms of the direction each teams are going. At least that's how I'm approaching it. Which, yeah, like if they start off a rebuild, Salon makes a ton of sense. If they don't, they need a game changer. So that's why I was thinking Clingan. Like he can be at least a game changer defensively. It's probably like the biggest game changer you could have on one side of the floor or the other left on the board right away. But I love Clingan for OKC. 13, we got Sacramento.
Just a side note real quick.
Yeah.
OKC.
Yeah.
This just clicked when they came up on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Chomshays kind of reminds me of Ibaka.
Yeah, I saw somebody else come up with that comparison, and
did you? I've never seen that one, but
yeah.
All right,
I just want to see his measurements. If he's 6'10", he's not like because Ibaka was 7 feet, right?
No, he was. I think Ibaka was like 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, I think there's some similarities there for sure. All right, 13, Sacramento. Who you got?
All right, I am just going to. I mean, they've had success with an international shooter before. I think Ricochet has fallen far enough, and I'm taking him here for the Kings.
Ricochet to the Kings. Alrighty, which puts me on the clock with the Blazers at 14 with every player in my top 14 is gone except for one. But also, he's a wing. And you drafted Cody Williams, which makes this very tough for me.
So on the screen is Fanspo's consensus, or
Fanspo. It's Fanspo.
Oh. Yeah.
Chat, say who you would go here at 14. It is not Jameer Watkins. I actually might go with somebody that is like not in the top 5 players remaining. Chomchi. not Chomchi.
If I was the Blazers, I'm taking Chomchi.
But for me, the names I'm considering, I'm just going to say the names I'm considering, okay? And then chat can talk about it. The names I'm considering are Jalen Tyson. That's the one guy left on my top 14. Hallel Ware. It's kind of just those two.
Wait, since when would you?
Since when would I what?
Consider Ware? I thought you were down on him.
I am higher in general on Missy than Ware, but I think Ware has a higher ceiling. And in Portland's situation, when you have Ayton, right, and you have Rob Will, you have Duop Reith, it makes more sense just to swing for the talent of a Hallel Ware than to take a guy like Missy at 14, in my opinion.
I'd argue they both have similar upside, but yeah, I get your thinking. He fits a little more playing with him if they played a little bit together. But
this is just tough if the board shakes out this way, because I feel like a lot of people would say Filipowski here, but I do not like Filipowski, and everybody else is a guard or a wing, and then the centers are Ware and Missy. And I guess you could go Tyler Smith. He just doesn't impress me. And I guess you could go Zach Edey. All right, I'm going to make a decision in the next 30 seconds. I don't know why I'm scrolling so far down.
You're trying to find challenge.
I am thinking about doing something crazy. That would probably piss off chat. All right, who does chat say? Edie, Tori, you're trolling me. How am I trolling you? You know what, Eric? I gotta go. At this point, I'm just going with the top guy on my board.
All right.
I'm going with Jalen Tyson here. I know we got Cody Williams, okay. Jalen Tyson could be really, really good in my opinion. I really, really like him as a player. He can handle the ball, he can shoot, he can defend, he can pass, he can do basically everything. He's a solid athlete. Listed at 6'7". I think he's big enough to play some 3. And you are just getting 2 wings that can do a lot in Cody Williams and Jalen Tyson. I think you move off Thibault. I think you freaking move off Banton. Like, there's really no need for him at that point. And you do have a little bit of a logjam, but I think you just figure it out later with like Scoot, Ant, Sharp, Cody Williams, Jalen Tyson, Kamara at point guard, shooting guard, small forward. I think you keep 5 of the 6 long term, assuming Cody Williams and Jalen Tyson pan out. So I'm just going to go Jalen Tyson.
Yeah, chat loves you. All right, next up we have the Miami Heat.
Yep.
With their first pick.
Y'all gotta respect Jalen Tyson. I've been telling you about Jalen Tyson since he was projected like 50th, and now he's like projected around 20th. Okay, he's one of those guys that rises because I like him. Respect Jalen Tyson. I think Tyson can play the small forward. I mean, that things are going to change once measurements are released, but he's listed as 6'7". So you hope he's at least 6'6". Like, he's good. Watch some tape on him. Like, he's legitimately good. He's just not like the flashy name. But we can sit here and be like, Portland has too many wings, but I mean, they got Jabari, Chris, Jeremy Grant at the 4, Ayton and Rob Will at the 5. Like, they kind of got log jams everywhere. That's why I went with best player. Anyway, Eric, do you know what you want to do?
Yeah, so next up is the Miami Heat. And
I agree with chat, by the way. That's all I'm going to say.
What?
Nothing. Go on.
About Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about Devin Carter. There's several players I thought about, but I think the upside of this player, and it fills a need, gives them shooting and a potential. It's one of those guys who could be, a star player. We saw the same team have a player like Keontae George last year who a lot of people were down on around this time than they were earlier in the season, and he turned out to be just fine. So I'm going to go with Jacoby Walter, and I think he's a really good fit on Miami.
Jacoby Walter to be the next Tyler Hero. Just kidding, they don't really play alike. Alrighty, Eric, you left me with the easiest pick of the entire draft.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is? Just guess the name.
I'm going to guess Jared McCain for Orlando.
Easily.
Yes.
Because you got the big playmaking. They need some freaking shooting. They need a guard that can just be like an elite knockdown shooter. He can play point guard, a little bit undersized, but he doesn't have to handle all the point guard duties. Jared McCain in a heartbeat for them. Like, he would maybe be like 9th, 10th on my big board if I made it specifically for the Magic.
All right. All right, next up we have the Toronto Raptors, who lost their pick at 7 to the Spurs, an unfortunate circumstance for them. I think man, I think Masai, if it wasn't me, would also consider Chomshay here. I think he's the type of guy who isn't afraid to swing for a player like that, and is actually from the same place that Siakam is from, so he's had some luck there. But I think there is a player that would be too intriguing to pass up in this position, and that's Keyshawn George. I think a bigger guard who can, one that could actually shoot, though, maybe. And you don't necessarily need him to be the primary ball handler if you have Quickly and Scotty Barnes and stuff. So I'm taking Keyshawn George.
Alrighty, 18. I think this is another easy pick for me. The Pelicans need to find their like long-term center, their Valanciunas replacement, and if they're going to keep Zion around, it should be somebody who can shoot. So basically a shooting 5-man with some upside, because they kind of need some upside as well. I think Khalil Ware here at 18 makes a ton of sense for the Pelicans.
Yeah. He can be what they thought Jackson Hayes is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, although I never really was that confident in Jackson Hayes becoming a shooter.
Yeah.
Texas bigs just don't really pan out other than Miles Turner.
At 19, we have Philadelphia.
Yeah.
All right, so Philly is obviously more win now mode. Who knows if they keep this pick? I think. How to make sure my big board didn't become screwed up. They're gonna take Bronny and hope LeBron comes. No. Man, I think they go with. I'm thinking there's 3 players I'm trying to decide between.
Who are they?
Devin Carter, Hunter Salas, and Tristan Newton. I think if they're trying to win now, I think all 3 players can help them. I'm probably just going to go with Devin Carter and hope him and Maxey are very intriguing as a combo.
He can replace that Pat Bev role, but better, in my opinion.
Lowry minutes now.
They could use him to guard Brunson in this series. So I like that pick a lot. Okay, at 20, Eric, I'm going to go with someone who's not even on the Fanspo Consensus official draft board. Okay. I'm going to draft another hyphenated name in his place. But I really like Cleveland just swinging on Tyon Grant Foster in this range. People will probably say it's a little high, and he's 24 years old, but that dude impresses me. He can knock down shots off the dribble, extremely quick first step, big physical body, can play the 3. I don't think he's going to have any problem playing the 3. And I'm a big like movement pattern guy, and just the plays that dude could make. And I know he played for Grand Canyon, but he was making the same plays against Alabama. He was making the same plays against St. Mary's in the tournament. I'm taking John Grant Foster. I'm going to draft Jordan Ivy Curry because he has a hyphenated name, and we're not drafting him in the top 60, right, Eric?
Right.
Okay. Tying Grant Foster at 20 for Cleveland. I just think he's an upside. He's an upside play that would at least give him some bench scoring, and maybe could be better than that. So.
All right. So people are trying to confuse me in chat.
Why?
Default username said, "Where did OKC's second first round pick go?" They actually don't have a second first round pick this year.
Mm-hmm.
And if Houston moves up into the top.
I like how there's a guy called Jordan Ivy Curry. Yeah, you mix Jaden Ivey, Michael Jordan, and Steph Curry is what you get.
All right, yeah, I gotta find someone.
JP Savvy, I did search, and I've been waiting for them to add Grant Foster. I think Rafael Barlow said he had him as a first-round pick, and then Hoop Intellect had him as an early second, so it's not as much of a stretch as people might think. And I think it makes a lot of sense for a team like Cleveland.
All right. At
21, you got New Orleans.
21, we have New Orleans. Who they took Khalil Ware?
Yeah.
You know what? Screw it. I think they need someone that is a winner that can help stabilize that backcourt. And there's arguably no one better than this person in this draft that does all the little things to win, and that's Tristan Newton. So I'm going to take him here.
Tristan Newton. I like it. Intriguing pick. All right, 22, you got Milwaukee. And Brook Lopez getting up there in age. He can kind of only play drop. I think they could get their Brook Lopez replacement, a good lob target for Dame. I mean, but Dame doesn't throw lobs, right? So, but just a physical guy that can give them a different look defensively at the center spot. That could help them right away, backing up Brook Lopez and then ultimately replace him. I'm going to go with Yee Missy, 22, Milwaukee. Great value for them. And then you got the Phoenix Suns at 23.
All right.
How can they save their franchise after getting swept by the Timberwolves with the 23rd pick?
Oh. Do you know what I think they would do here? If the board actually went this way in real life,
Yeah.
You know what I think they would do here?
Who do you think?
Filipowski.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of teams at this range would go Filipowski.
Yeah.
We are not Filipowski fans over here.
I'm going to pick someone who I think his ability to pass and handle the ball a little bit would work really well with the players that Phoenix has. And I think it's okay that he's a little undersized. And I think this is a really good fit, whether it's as the backup to Nurk or not, if they move off of Nurk or whatever. But that's Deron Holmes.
Deron Holmes, 23, 2. Where's he at? Oh, there he is. I kind of like Deron Holmes for them. I think that's a solid pick. All right, the Knicks with all their depth. I mean, they got 24 and 25.
Who's that?
The Knicks.
Oh yeah, because they have Dallas's pick.
Yeah.
They had that coin flip to see which one of their two picks would be first, the 24 to the 20. They really did. Dallas won.
That's funny. Like, What? They don't need anything, Eric. There's no Villanova guys for them to draft. What do you think is their biggest team need? They have so much depth.
Yeah.
Chat, what's their biggest need? I mean, I guess they just swing for upside, right?
Yeah.
It just makes sense to swing on like they don't need anything right away at all. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm taking Chomche for him.
Nice.
Like, they don't need anything right away. They don't need anything out of this pick. Like, so it makes sense just to take a guy that is raw, that's going to take some time, but can maybe develop into something. I have Chomche, like, 28th on my board, but I think right here with the Knicks, especially considering they have 24, 25, and 38, it makes sense to go him. And I'm going to put the onus on Eric to pick for them at 25.
Well, I do think that I don't like it offensively for Chomche developing, but defensively, I think he could become a stud with Tibbs coaching and stuff like that. So
yeah,
don't mind that pick at all. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do then is I'm just going to get some shooting.
Yeah.
Space the floor a little bit. And I think this is a good range for Justin Edwards.
Alrighty, Justin.
So I'm going to take Justin Edwards.
Then up next is the Washington Wizards, who took Ron Holland at 4. They got Holland Koulibaly. They don't have their point guard for the future, though. And they got 2 good defenders. I'm going to try and draft their point guard of the future, Eric.
I know who it's going to be.
Who's it going to be?
Tyler Kolek.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope, we're going younger because they're rebuilding. We're going with Carrington. I like Carrington a lot, too. Yeah. And he, Holland, and Koulibaly is kind of intriguing to me. And I feel like he has some underrated upside. Like, if there's a guard taken outside of the top 20 that could become a star, I think it's him.
Yeah. Shooting might be a little tough with them. Those 3.
Yeah, you hope that they figure it out. You know, it's like those guys that if they can figure out their shot, they're going to be really good. Like, we can always try and find a stretch 5, and yeah, it's swinging for upside.
Yeah. All right, next up we got the Minnesota Timberwolves at 27, fresh off their championship.
They love playing very big, Eric, so, you know, you could...
Who's their backup point guard right now?
Monte Morris.
Oh, right.
They still got Evan Turner's cap hold. Their bench is loaded.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking in terms of Conley getting up there in age. And I think, you know, they're obviously in a hopefully championship window for them if I'm their GM.
Yeah.
So this might be a tad bit of a reach, but I think this guy would fit in really well on this team and just be a really steady, almost vet type player right away, and that's KJ Simpson.
Kenneth Simpson, KJ Simpson. Alrighty. At 28, I'm going to go with another point guard, right? The Nuggets are playing Reggie Jackson. Okay, so they need a backup point that is ready to come in and provide minutes right away and is just solid all around. I like Tyler Kolek here at 28 for Denver. 29 is Utah.
They're slightly better than Colin Gillespie replacement.
He's not just slightly better than Colin Gillespie. Come on, man. The Kolek disrespect needs to stop.
No. So this is Utah.
Yeah.
All right. So Utah
They took Castle.
took Castle. I think they continue to swing for upside, so I'm not going to take any of like the vet guys. So I think this is where Pacome Dadiet goes.
Oh, man. Okay. I like this. Where's he at? It's a trouble. I struggle finding some guys. Oh, he's still on the board. Where's Dadiet? The hell? There he is, 47. Okay, Dadiet. 30! Boston. Gets a guy who's going to be really, really freaking good for them. Like, if this guy goes here, I'm assuming he's going to be really, really good.
Yep.
And he's a small forward. He's a small forward. He's a shooting guard, small forward. Maybe can play some small ball forward. I like Jameer Watkins a ton for Boston. Oh my goodness. I love that. All right, 31, Toronto.
All right.
They took Keyshawn George.
Yep. 17. Man. I think can you hear my dog snoring?
No. Very faintly, not really.
Man.
You got some intriguing names left on the board.
Yeah. I think at this point, I just take Filipowski.
All right. Filipowski. Next up isn't Portland. It's whoever the swap was with, by the way. I'll trade the picks when we get there. 32, Utah. Like, I don't know. If you're stocking up on role players and you're just... I feel like they could come up with a really good defensive team. I think just taking a chance on Ryan Dunn here, and if you can develop a jump shot, which is a big if, then he's probably a steal there. And you got Castle, who they drafted. You got Walker Kessler, right? You're just drafting guys that could be like elite role players, and I think Ryan Dunn, I don't like him that much just because offensively he's brutal, but you just hope you can turn him into something. I think with our third pick, it makes sense to swing there. All right, I'll trade this with Milwaukee. Ready. 33 is your Milwaukee Bucks, Eric.
All right.
Oh my goodness, there's a player here that makes so much sense for them. There's a few guys here that make a ton of sense. They would be very happy with getting at 33, I think.
Yeah.
This board is loaded.
I'm just making sure real quick that because like I said, I made some changes to my board earlier and it didn't save, so. Just making sure I didn't miss anyone before I pick this. All right. I like this player for them if they're trying to win right now. I'm taking Hunter Salas.
Hunter Salas. Alrighty. Which means I have to make a decision between two players for the Blazers. And one of them is kind of funny. Man.
Zach Edey and Bronny James.
Yeah. No, both of those guys would be funny. So what are we doing here for the Blazers? Already drafted Cody Williams, Jalen Tyson. You're getting guys that can shoot. In Cody Williams' case, hopefully with more volume, but guys that can also make plays, guys that can also handle the ball, and guys that are hopefully solid defensively. The guy I'm going to take fits in with that, but gives the Blazers shooting at the power forward spot, which they don't have with Chris Murray or Jabari Walker. The thing is, there's two players that fit that shooting thing, but there's one that fits the, can also pass a little bit, make some plays. You already got one Colorado player. You already got a Colorado head coach. Let's take another Colorado player, Eric. Tristan da Silva at 34. I'd be very happy if the Blazers were able to get somebody like him at 34. Taylor Packer is booing Tristan. Why don't you like Tristan da Silva at 34?
Seems like a Chris Murray type pick.
He's a better shooter than Chris Murray, and he's just better. He's better than Chris Murray. You'd have a better rookie season than Chris Murray. Oh, you wanted Furphy. I mean, we just took two wings, bro. We took Cody Williams and Jalen Tyson. We didn't really need another wing. I love the tomato emojis, though. Eric, who are you taking here at 35 for San Antonio? They took Shepard and Topic.
All right.
I would go with.
Zach Edey. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. Take who you want, but that's legitimately who I'd draft here.
Yeah.
Because you got Chet and Klingon, and then you have Wemby and Edey. I love it. I mean, how do you deal with two
with Shepard and Topic?
With Shepard and Topic?
As intriguing as that is, I'm going to take Tyler Smith for them.
Tomato!
Another. Yeah. You take Zach Edey.
But I'm not picking for the Spurs now. I'm picking for the Pacers, and I hate Edey for the Pacers. Okay, like, what do the Pacers need?
Colonel Pancakes with a $1 donation. Thank you, Colonel Pancakes.
Thank you, Pancakes. Appreciate you, bro.
How you doing tonight?
Man.
Squid, while you're thinking, Squid asked what we don't like about Tyler Smith. I don't think he's great defensively. Just kind of passive on offense. Can shoot a little bit, obviously. But that's pretty much all he can do. So, he's got some potential to do some other things, but I don't know, just didn't really, outside of a small sample size of shooting threes at like 39%, I don't know if there's any other NBA level skill he has. So
yeah. At 36 for the Pacers, they need defensive help. They have a lot of depth already, but could maybe draft somebody here that could help them a little bit right away, especially on the defensive end. But then is a little intriguing offensively. Just his shot is a major question mark, but they do have a lot of shooting there, so I think even if his shot didn't really pan out too well, it wouldn't be as bad as on other teams. So I'm going to take Kevin McCullough for them at 36.
All right. And then shout out to Colonel Pancakes for a $2 donation and Colonel Pancakes for a $3 donation.
Counting it up, man.
1, 2, 3. When will it stop? No one knows.
Alrighty. 37.
And Colonel Pancakes, in your next donation, tell us how you're doing tonight, man.
Yes, appreciate you, bro. Hopefully you're doing well. 37, we got Minnesota.
Minnesota, again, they took KJ Simpson earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And someone who I was thinking about taking earlier is still on the board. So I'm just going to take him, and that's Johnny Furphy.
Johnny Furphy for Minnesota. Now we got the Knicks. The freaking Knicks.
Now my board just has a bunch of guys that aren't in the draft on it, and I can't take them off.
I mean, this isn't even my board that I'm operating off of.
I know. Yours is different.
A little.
Yeah, because I'm good, Taylor.
They need center depth. But maybe they bring back. Maybe they don't have to play him. He doesn't fit their. Actually, he does fit their style of play.
Yeah.
Because they're the number one offensive rebounding team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just physical as hell. I'm going Zach Edey for the Knicks at 38.
Okay. Nice. Some of these players, I keep wondering which one of us are going to draft him.
Yeah. Well, you got Mempick the next Delano Banton for the Blazers.
I thought you already did.
Who was that?
Who did you say earlier was the
No,
next?
I said we could get rid of Delano Banton because we drafted 2 wings in the lottery.
Okay. Just make sure I'm not forgetting anyone down here, way down here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they're not afraid to draft some interesting players that they just like to hopefully develop. So I think this is a good situation for him. No pressure to become anything good right away. Can kind of learn behind Sarin, Jaren Jackson, if they still have Brandon Clark, all that. So I'm going to take Bobby Klintman here.
All right. Klintman just feels like a Grizzlies player.
Yeah.
Portland, they took Cody Williams, Jalen Tyson, Tristan da Silva. They like their Pac-12 guys, Eric. Keeping them on the West Coast. If we didn't already draft 2 wings, I would take Dylan Jones and get a Weber State guy so that Dame can come back.
Yeah. Colonel Pancakes with a $4 donation said, I'm doing great. Good to hear.
Good to hear it. This is just gross. Like I don't. The Blazers have log gyms already. I guess they could go with a big man. Who would you go here?
honestly, I'm probably just stashing someone because
There's like nobody to stash though.
I don't know, Drusik.
Oh, Jurassic. I forgot.
Let's see,
I don't even see him on the board though.
Ajinka, or
I
however.
would have picked Jurassic probably a little earlier, honestly. This guy can be on a two-way.
Yeah,
You know what? At this pick, like, he's. I'm kind of just tempted to go with a guy that was like a projected top 10 pick before the season, struggled to shoot, but can play some defense, like kind of a tweener, right? Like, there's a reason why he fell here to 40, but I mean, has some traits I like, and at this point, it only makes sense to swing for a big. I feel like. I don't like this pick, but or we could do that. I'm gonna take Almanza here at 40.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I think it's probably their best option. I mean, none of the stuff here I really like. And you just put him on a two-way, and you just try and develop his shot.
Yeah, he does have some other skills you can maybe develop.
Stream died. Oh, it's back. Okay, good. I'm glad it's back. Chat, I went Almanza for the Blazers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 50 from Colonel Pancakes. $50 donation says, "What's this 0 after the 5? Weird. I guess I'll just click buy and send it since 5 is over 4." Thank you, Colonel Pancakes.
Oh, man. I love pancakes, bro.
Mr. Money.
Pancakes is not my
Moneybags.
favorite food just because... And popcorn. Because you got Colonel Pancakes. Shout out to Colonel Pancakes with a 50. Thank you, man.
Pancake popcorn.
Pancake popcorn. I'm going to put some popcorn in some pancakes.
All right, who we got now? 41 is Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Took Devin Carter earlier. I, with my loads of cap space, Devin Carter, Tyrese Maxey, Embiid.
You're trading the 41st pick for Brogdon?
Nope. I am going to do something crazy if I'm Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And hope like heck that I'm the one team
Oh, God.
with enough cap space
God,
that can make this happen.
Yeah.
I'm taking Bronny James and I'm pitching LeBron to come play with Embiid and his son and all that kind of stuff. Come to Philly this summer, LeBron. I think the 41st pick is worth that small potential of happening.
Oh my!
And I don't think LeBron is as bad as people think he is.
If he
coming
wasn't
back
Bronny
from-
James, he wouldn't be anywhere near draft boards.
Well, that might be true. A lot of that does have to do with the fact that he pretty much died and didn't get cleared to play basketball again until halfway through.
He did play though, and he just
Yeah.
And in high school, like until his senior year, he really did not flash a ton offensively. Like he can play, but if you're evaluating him with top prospects in high school, like he was a little underwhelming until his senior year. There's some offensive concern there. Like I don't think he's a NBA player offensively. Like
definitely a concern offensively, but I do see the basketball IQ, which I've talked about before, being important to me. I do feel like he sees the floor well, has a little bit of passing instinct, but to me, his value is as a point of attack defender, and I'm just going to turn him loose on the defensive end and just make him become a pest on that end. I think he has... I mean, I don't know if he'll actually get a shot to become this, but I think behind Sar and Ryan Dunn, I think he'd have a chance of being like the third best defender in this draft.
Castle's a better defender than him.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a couple other guys. Like, he could barely, I don't know. He, like, barely played for a bad USC team. Although they did have a couple decent guards. I would honestly take him too, trying to get LeBron.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, yeah. I like the play. I think it's a great play.
All right, 42. We have Charlotte again.
Yeah, you got like 1 million point guards on the board, and you got freaking. Oh, we're gonna. This is an underrated pick for this guy. Like, this guy, I think, could come in and be a okay role player right away. Keep him in North Carolina. I'm going Harrison Ingram.
Okay.
43, Miami. Your favorite team, Eric.
Yeah. It would be hilarious if they end up beating Boston. They took Jacoby Walter earlier. I think they're the type of team that just looks for players that have skill sets that they could use.
Mm-hmm.
And someone with a really nice skill set, I don't think they're going to worry as much about his height. So I think I'm going to take Dylan Jones. And I think he meshes well with some of the players on that roster.
I like it. Houston took Isaiah Collier. Now they're sitting here at 44. I mean, they got 1 million players. I mean, this is probably a two-way guy or a stash, right? Like,
and while you're thinking of that, Colonel Pancakes with $100 donation. This guy's made
we're doubling now. Let's go.
He says, "What's this 2 times button? Gee whiz, I guess I'll just click it. Just trying to buy some cat food from Amazon. Hopefully this does the trick."
Bro, if you need cat food, I'll send you some.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some cat food upstairs, bro. I'll send you some. I love it. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for the 100. It's past midnight. I am running low on energy, so I'm sorry if my energy does not match what you deserve, but we appreciate it greatly. Alrighty, let's see. 40
rapid fire.
A Jinsa stash. 45 is
right.
Sacramento.
Find a Jinsa.
Rapid fire, Eric. Let's go.
No, I know. I just gotta find a Jinsa. Where the heck is he? All right. 45. You said a Sacramento. They took Ricochet earlier. I am just going to take, well, I'm going to take Oso here. I think they have enough shooting, but Oso could be kind of a poor man Sabonis type when he's not on the floor and kind of be a secondary playmaker for them.
Yep. 46 Philadelphia. Get rid of Tobias Harris and replace him with Alex Caravan. Just kidding. He's their new George Niang. There you go.
Korkmaz.
He's bigger than Korkmaz. 47 is San Antonio. They took Shepard Toppich Smith.
All right. I'm just going to take Drew Sick here.
Yeah, I keep forgetting he's on the board. I would have taken him earlier. There he is, Drew Sick. Okay. 48 is the Clippers. Maybe a center that could play their way into backup minutes. I'm gonna go with the Dembona and keep him in LA. 49ers Orlando.
All right, so Orlando so far has taken Jared McCain. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to continue to just try and add some shooting. So I am going to take. I'm going to take Jackson Robinson.
All right. 50 is the Pacers. They need defense. They got TJ McConnell playing some playoff minutes. Maybe that Jamal Shed is 6'1" though.
And you took McCullough already.
Yeah,
And they have Nembhard.
There's just like no
and Ben Shepherd.
There's no bigs I like, bro. Like Kwame Evans isn't entering the draft. Oh, I'll go Coleman Hawkins.
All right, that actually seems like a good pick for them.
Yeah, that's the only guy that made any sense to me. Oh God, I have to pick for them again at 52.
All right, Wizards are up. They got Ron Holland and Carlton Perry.
There's two guys I really want to take that are too slept on, but it doesn't make sense for Indiana. God, what team am I gonna have at 54 where I can finally draft Walmart Luka Doncic? Rapid fire, rapid fire.
No, I know. It's just my board's all messed up. I don't know if this person's going to stay in the draft or not, but at this point, you're just swinging for upside. I'm going to take Baba Miller.
All right. 52, you're going for a guy on a two-way long shot. Upside, I guess. Multi-positional. I'm going to take Adama Ball.
All right.
For Indiana. Ooh, I like Detroit at 54. Go ahead.
53, we got the Golden State Warriors.
There's one guy that makes so much sense.
Has DJ Wagner announced if he's...
I'm not sure.
Screw it, I'm just going to take him.
All right.
DJ Wagner. Or the third Wagner brother. I think I was transfer portal with the possibility of being in the draft.
All right. 54. God. You got Dillingham. I mean, I just think you swing for pure upside and don't even care about positions if you're Detroit at this point. And the only guy with pure upside left, I feel like, is AJ Johnson.
Okay.
55 Boston. They took Jameer Watkins, my guy, at 30.
All right.
Pulisic is going to Arkansas. He's not in the draft.
Yeah. Otherwise, he would have been taken by now. Proctor is going back. Mark Mitchell is transferring. Cam Jones is going back. Bradshaw transferred.
Your guy, PJ Hall.
Tommy Evans is going back. So yeah, Boston. I like Jamal Shed for them.
All right, you're going Jamal Shed for Boston. 56 is the Lakers. They need somebody that could maybe help them right away. They need more shooting. Baylor Shireman. 57 is Denver, and then 58 is Memphis. Whoops. It took out the forfeited picks, right?
I don't know.
It's fine if it did.
I don't think we had a second round pick for Phoenix. Isn't that what they took out?
I think there's only 58 picks this year again.
Yeah. All right. Even though they took Kolek earlier, I think the value here is just too great to pass up. So I am taking Antonio Reeves.
Antonio Reeves. Alrighty. 58, you got Memphis. They took Sarr. They took Klintman. At 58, I think you... look for a point guard. I'm going to take AJ Mitchell.
All right.
This pick is forfeited. It will not actually be selected in this draft.
All right. So
We'll put Terrence Shannon there, right?
Sure.
And 60 is Dallas. Oh,
Where-
I guess there's...
Weren't they one of the teams considering taking or trading for Miles Bridges?
Yeah.
So maybe they would take Terrence. All right, last pick of the draft.
Dallas finally gets a pick.
Dallas gets a pick. I swear you picked for them. I said they didn't need anything.
No,
What team was that?
that was New York.
Oh, New York, right. For Dallas.
Yeah.
All right, last pick of the draft. I think since they're missing Jalen Brunson so much, they're going to take the poor man's Jalen Brunson and take Mark Sears. It's the last pick of the draft.
Alrighty. So that's our draft. Number one undrafted guy, in my opinion, is Trenton Flowers. That was somebody I wanted to take at some point for a team, but I don't know, didn't really make sense. That is our mock draft. That, of course, Ty Grant Foster at 20. So, yeah, interesting mock draft, man. Blazers get Cody Williams, Jalen Tyson, Tristan Da Silva, and Izan Almansa. If the Blazers were picking at 5, would you be happy with that draft? Assuming Almansa's on a 2-way. And, they, cut bait with some other guys.
Who was it? Cody Williams.
Jalen Tyson at 14, and then Da Silva. I know you're not as high on Jalen Tyson, but
yeah, it's just a lot of wings.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
But small forwards that can shoot and handle, is intriguing. It's kind of something that the Blazers have always struggled to get. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind taking 2 of them, especially at 14 when there really wasn't players that made much more sense, in my opinion. Like, who would you have taken at 14 there for Portland?
Well, I would have taken Chomsky, but
I would have been Chomsky.
I think your internal dialogue with him and Ware was correct. I probably would have taken Ware over Jalen Tyson. Not necessarily because I think he's a better player, just because I think that's more what the type of player Portland needs. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with that draft. I don't feel like it's like has home run potential, like it's just solid,
Yeah, it's just tough in those spots.
No, I know. I'm not saying
no, I know.
did anything
I'm
wrong.
not
I'm just
you.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just adding on. Like, it's tough. It's tough at 14 if like Salon's not on the board. There really is no other upside plays that make a ton of sense, I guess, except for Ware. But he has his own problems and issues, and is a center, and we're like, that's the thing. It's like we're committed to Ayton, so that's where it becomes tough. And it's like I want to build out the Blazers bench with better than mediocre role players. And I don't think it's like, oh, they got Banton, they got Thibault, they got Chris Murray, they got Jabari Walker. We should shy away, from taking guys that could replace them. No, that should not be the thinking. So that's where it's like Cody Williams, Jalen Tyson, and then at 34, I like Tristan da Silva more than Jabari Walker and Chris Murray going forward. I think Tristan da Silva is going to be a good role player off a bench for a team. He can shoot, he can pass, he just has a good feel for the game, high basketball IQ. I think he's going to be a really intriguing player. He's a big 3 or big enough to play the 4 and provides shooting that the Blazers need. That's the other thing, is just how do you get this team to space the floor better. So yeah, at 34 I was debating Tristan da Silva or Tyler Smith. I think, who would you have gone at 34 for Portland? Because there really wasn't a ton I thought that made sense for him. I guess Furphy was there, but that's another
yeah
game.
I don't mind the da Silva pick. I might have taken Tyler Smith over him. Just at that point, you're just swinging.
Yeah, I think they're similar shooters. I just like da Silva. Da Silva's older. I just like his feel and ball handling and all that. But I can see Smith maybe developing that because he's younger. So anyway, that's our mock draft. Let us know in the live chat. Anything else for this live stream, Eric?
Oh, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. If you're watching this later, let us know what you thought of the mock draft, where we went right or wrong, and leave those comments below. And then also, Colonel Pancakes is having trouble, possibly locked out of the Discord or something.
Yeah.
If you want to help him later.
Yeah, I will. Pancakes, do you have a Twitter? If so, you can DM me on Twitter, and I will definitely try and help you. Appreciate your donations earlier. Thanks for keeping the channel afloat. Yeah, we'll figure it out. You can email me to blazersuprise@gmail.com. Just reach out to me, and I will try and help you. Tonight it's gonna be rough, but I'll have time tomorrow. You'd hate my Twitter content, but I will. Make a burner then. I don't know. Yeah.
I know why I would hate his Twitter content.
I don't care about. I don't know. I don't think I'd care. Like, I don't really pay attention to politics on Twitter for a reason, if that's what it is. So, tweets about Mario Hezonja a lot. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
and Barking Box with a member for 12-month message. Thanks for the stream. Glad I could make it live. We're glad you could make it live too, Sean. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for being a member. Yeah, just email me. It's probably easier for me too if you just email me. BlazersUprise@gmail. I'll try and help you. I'll try and get you set up with that. I don't know what's going on. I'll reach out to Grant as well. He's the one who sets up the Discord and handles all that. Truly Spencer says, just snap my key off in my car. Like in your ignition? Like you broke your key? That sucks, man. Well, hopefully you can figure that out. And Pancakes, we can get them figured out with the Discord. And if you guys want to join the Discord, use the link in the description box below.
Also, if you're interested in being in the mock off season, make sure you
let us know.
Let us know, preferably Tori, because he's the one setting up the spreadsheet. But I can relay it to him too. But join Discord and then message us about it if you want to participate, please.
Yeah. Anyway, Pancakes, I'll get you squared away tomorrow when I have a little more time. That's going to be a wrap for the stream. Me and Derek getting no sleep tonight. I have a meeting early tomorrow morning. Oh, man. And you got work, so appreciate you sticking it through. And appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you for supporting the channel. Video content, going to try and get it soon. I've just been swamped with work stuff, like, unexpectedly. And still working on reviews. So at some point, I'll start ratcheting up the uploads and we'll start getting some content out consistently. It's just might be a couple more days before I start actually getting a steady flow of videos out. So in case any of you were wondering, I don't think I've uploaded anything in like 4 or 5 days video wise. So still got stuff in the works and should be able to consistently upload here soon. Anyway, appreciate you guys. We're out of here. We'll catch you live again next Monday. Let's go back to this scene. Catch you live again next Monday. Hopefully you have a good weekend and enjoy the playoff basketball. Shout out to BetUS if you want to get in on it. Link at the top of the description box below. Anyway, we're out here. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.